and it's funny because I think we turned out over 300 videos last year, and some of it is just simply just a press conference that we put online. So just the numbers. It's not like they're all polished pieces, but you just think about how many things that you go and shoot and how much you're actually throwing away, because the finished product is usually what gets archived. So if you edit we'll edit right off the card. We'll shoot something on our DSLR, do a student athlete feature, and we're just throwing it away. Now, the finished piece will always live on, unfortunately, with a music mix and probably a lower third of some sort and some graphics. So we are keeping probably the best of that content. I always think of like the 30 for 30s where they pull all these old interviews, and I'm like, if that ever happened, we'd have the finished pieces, but we wouldn't have like those raw, because it's not like you just put a tape on a shelf anymore. You have to digitize it and manage it. So, and because you reuse your cards, unlike where you wouldn't necessarily always reuse a tape. So, for the most part, we archive our entire game and we compress that kind of heavily. It's a QuickTime H.264, still looks good, but on the off chance, I think we talked on the call of like, what if your center from 1987 became an astronaut or senator or president, and you'd want some footage of them. So we would still have it in a decent quality. Then there's the melt, which is, as we all know, the best stuff, and that stays at a ProRes level, so it's a little bit better. And then, we have the web highlights. That's a even more compressed file that, if somebody really wanted it, I could give it to you, you could broadcast it and it'd be okay. And then, those are the things we keep. We throw away the raw from our game, and, then any of the content that was created around that all gets kept. But unfortunately, whatever was on the P2 card or the SD card just goes by the wayside. So we do make sure, though, that anything that gets produced does end up in a decent quality, and that's what gets archived.
Okay. I hope you have the Miracle Catch in Michigan, like, locked away in a safe.
We do have a very nice VHS copy of it.
No.
Oh, God.
And I might need to talk to you, because the master of the 1990 National Championship game, no offense, you won 89.
Okay.
Our master of that is a VHS. That was bumped to DVD that then was ripped. That's what we have. But that was long before there was a BuffVision, so, that was, I think our sports information director recorded it at his house, and that was what we have.
I think we're dealing with that. Right? I mean, you deal with the best quality that you can when you can, and sometimes the VHS consumer deliverable is all we have.
Right. Commercials included.
Commercials included. And so, you do the best you can.
Sure.